All right, everybody, welcome to another unscripted edition of Marketing Phone Calls. I am Jason Leister here with Ricky Breslin, and today the topic of the day is getting stuff done, aka productivity. Ricky and I have some different definitions about what that means, and Ricky, in my opinion, is a real expert at this, so we're going to kind of play off each other as always. These are totally unscripted and unplanned, with the exception of the big takeaway that we're trying to get out there into the world. So Ricky, why don't you start, and then we'll just jump in. How do you get all the stuff done that you get done?
I kind of feel guilty you saying that because I don't feel like I get anything done. But now that I'm thinking about it, most people I know that get a lot done always feel like they don't get a lot done. So it's probably like a common theme among entrepreneurs. So
yeah, you definitely get a lot done. I've seen your lists. Like, that's a lot. So
yeah, well, and that's you kind of bring up a cool point, man, because most people, almost like a household budget, they feel that a budget actually chokes and hinders them and makes them feel trapped and in prison. Mm-hmm. But actually a list frees you 100% from all those internal thoughts of what do I got to get done, and not feeling like you have a vision and all the bull crap that comes with actually not being organized. So even if you're not an organized person, having a very structured list is critical, which, well, I think everybody knows on these phone calls, we don't script any of this. We don't have bullet points. We just talk. So let that lead into Trello, Trello.com, which has really been revolutionary for my business because it's the only software I know built that allows you to like take a note and a list item and move it around very easily with your iPhone or a regular browser or whatever. It's really life-changing. So if probably the biggest tip today, no matter what we talk about, is everybody should sign up for Trello, in my opinion. You've used it, right, Jason?
I've used it. Yeah. I mean, just kind of for people that don't know what that is, just give us an overview.
Well, it's a cool board. I'll give them try to give them a 1-minute version. It's just a cool piece of software that allows you to make lists. And then you can like put dates on those lists and assign people to certain to-dos or notes or whatever. But the crazy thing is I've used Basecamp and I've used everything you could imagine. This is the only software I've ever stuck with. I mean, it's amazing. The developers are great. I mean, I'm just such a fanboy of it, man, to be honest with you. But basically it just keeps all your brain online at all times. So you don't have to go home after work, or if you work at home, you don't have to think about this stuff. You just just lay it all out and organize it. And you know what, man, let me pull my Trello up real quick here. And I'll give you an example of what me and my wife are the owners in our companies. And here's how we do it. And this is after years and hours. And anybody who's married to their business partner knows, like, you will have arguments. You will have drag out, like, and then you'll have your good day. It's a up and down, but ours isn't up and down anymore. We've been doing this for going on 10 years. But here's how we do it. Let me open this up real quick, and I think it's pretty cool. So we have what we call a master to-do. So we just go into Trello, and we have a master to-do. And what you do is you have what they call cards. And it's just basically you can create a new card. So I'm looking at one of ours, and we have 5 sections. And one is ideas. So like right now I have about 40 ideas on my ideas tab. And then next is to-do. And those are like, this will get done. And I assign them. So I just drag my wife's face or whoever I want to do it onto that to do. You drag their face on it. It's phenomenal. Cool. The next is working on, meaning it's going on right this minute. The next is for review. And then the next is done. And then once you're done with something, you just archive it and the software saves it forever. You can go back and look at it 3 years later. So let me recap. Ideas, to do, working on, for review, and done. This is the only way I know how to get things done, because we have to understand where all this stuff derives from, and that is a conversation, right? So me and my wife, we have a brain fart and we're like, blah, and oh, well, that's a good idea. Well, before it makes the ideas tab in Trello, it's pretty much vetted. So nothing is in the ideas tab that's just BS. Like it's pretty 90% going to get done.
Yeah.
When it moves to the to-do, which is like a 2-second job, you just drag and drop it over there. That means that it is going to get done 100%, right? Then working on is like, that's going to get done pretty much this week, next week. And it's prioritized. So you can drag stuff up and down because sometimes priorities change based on what's going to make more revenue, what's going on now. Sometimes opportunities will come up, so things will need to get pushed back. So working on is like red, it's fire. So it's going to happen. It's happening right now. And then once it's done, a lot of the times, I'm sure you've seen this, Jason, like you can't archive it or call it done because me and you review each other's work a lot. You may want to review it. You may need me to look at it, etc. So I'll just drag it over to the for review tab, and my wife will know to go in there and double check everything. And then when she's done reviewing it, she drags it over to done. So do you see that flow? We have a conversation. An idea gets vetted. It moves into ideas. From ideas, it moves to do. And from the to-do, it's like literally being worked on, then it gets for review and then done. I know that was like a 4-minute in-depth deal I just spoke of right there. But
these tabs are something you created, right? They don't come with Trello. Like this is your way of compartmentalizing everything.
Exactly. But you have to do this, especially in our world, because it's so vast. It's I think I coined this term, infinitely scalable. I've been using it for like 3 years because that's what the internet is. It never stops. All it does is make you psycho. That's the only thing the internet does. It makes you crazy. So so the most important thing is not picking what you have to do. It's picking what, like, I am not doing that, and then outsourcing it. So what Trello does is I don't walk around crazy. I know it's in Trello. I know what my wife's working on. I know what our outsourcers are working on, our employee, whatever. It's just in there. I don't care. Now, and these are called boards. So I have a board called Master To Do. And then I have people like my web designer and stuff. He's on here. So I know what he's working on. And then they have statuses and dates, and it's really simple. But the good thing is I've used Basecamp. I've used all these pieces of software. This is the most simplest software ever. Yeah. I know they're going to get a lot of new signups from this call because I'm pushing it so hard, and they deserve every single one of them. I'll wrap up on this real quick. The next one is product launches. So right now, and that has 3 tabs. The first one is product ideas, then product pipeline, and then waiting to launch. Waiting to launch is like, there's a date on it. It's not completed, but it's basically being done. There's a deadline, etc. The pipeline is like, that's coming right before launch. Like, these are the next ones in the pipeline. We're laying foundations for those products, etc. And then before that is product ideas. These have been vetted. Sometimes we'll talk about stuff for 4 or 5, 6 months. Sometimes we'll make a decision in a day. Like, okay, we have to make that. And that goes into product ideas. And then we build on it. So I'm not going to keep talking about it. Go to Trello.com. Just sign up, make a to-do list, play with it, drag some stuff around, and you'll be sold. Let me shut up now.
Yeah, no. Well, talk about, like, I've used Basecamp, and I mean, I've used it with clients for years, and what I've always found is that very slowly but surely, the clients that I get on there stop using it and default back to like email. So talk a little bit more about why Trello why you stick with it, and how it differs from the other options out there.
Yeah, that's a good point. I stick with it because, for instance, I have a project in here that my web designer's working on, like a DVD cover, right?
Yeah.
Well, why would he need to email me? I can click the DVD description, what they call a card, and there's an activity thing in there, and he just tells me where he's at, and there's a due date on it. So we have like defaulted built-in deadlines that I assign. And if he can't meet them, he can change the date or whatever. And then we have notes within that card. So here's the key. We don't want to wake up every day and micromanage projects. That's the definition of stupidity. I mean, I want to micromanage Trello. I want to log in there every morning, and the only thing I need to know is if somebody's not done by a deadline, I'm pinging like crazy. I'm like, did somebody die? What happened? What's going? I don't know what happened. Like, I'm on, but the key is making sure that whoever your service provider is, you're just very clear with them on their deadlines. They know how important it is to you. You don't ping, you don't micromanage, you do nothing. You live and die by the deadline. And that's all I do in Trello, man. I just go in there. I'm like, hey, web designer, can we be done? When can you be done? And I give them the option because I want them to commit. I don't want to push them into a deadline they can't meet. So if it's if it's 4 or 5 days later than I want, that's the deadline. I'll be like, all right, cool. And then I throw the deadline in Trello, and then they have to make the deadline. If they don't make the deadline, I mean, they're just pretty much fired. It's nothing personal. I mean, I just have deadlines to meet. So, and sometimes, I'll budge on deadlines and things happen, and life is life, especially with tech. So you work with it, but that's it. And then I love the automatic notification. So if a card is updated, I can get an email. If I don't want an email, I can go in there and click a button and not get an email. So the key is getting out of your inbox, because I process my box to 0 daily. So every time I leave for the day, I don't have an actual email in my box unless I couldn't physically manage or do that project. So I'll leave it in my box and I'll get to it that next day or the next day. But if there's something in my box, it's a problem, and I consider it that. It pisses me off, actually. So I want to process it. I don't want anything in my box, because the more stuff there's in your box, the more stuff you have to do that takes you away from money making stuff. So unless it has to do with money making, but yeah, preferably people get out of their inboxes. I haven't ever seen that to be beneficial for anybody's life or business.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, Trello, I mean, when I used it, it's super simple. It's about as close as you can come to having a big open table in your home or office and note cards laid out, and just having that there always as kind of your structure and your process. So
yeah, I don't know how great it would be. I don't know if I want to use the word project management, but it's a task manager. It's like, let's get this crap done, and here's what I need done. Here's what to do. And there's some other pieces of software. If you have big mind maps and all this, I mean, I can still do that within Trello and just say, number 1, this, number 2, this. But it's not going to be as extravagant, but that's the beauty of it. I want it simplified. I want it dumbed down. I want it easy,
Well, and I think the biggest benefit of something like that is it lets you organize yourself in the way that your brain works, which is completely disorganized in an unjointed way. So with a lot of other systems, that doesn't translate well. The way the brain spits out things then have to be completely reorganized just to get them in the system. And Trello doesn't require that. You can just have it down there and organized in the way that your brain works. So there's no extra step.
Oh, you made a great point I didn't even think of is, they actually built Trello for the way the brain works. So, a lot of times you're moving stuff to other tabs, man. I mean, nobody else does that. It's weird. This flows, it shifts. It's beautiful, man. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And for everybody on the line, other than the all expenses paid trip to Italy, Ricky and I are going on at the expense of Trello, we get no compensation for making this.
No, actually, it's free. This software is beautiful. It's free, and Fog Creek is the company that designed it, and I guess they make a ton of money doing other stuff, and they do this for their team, and they open it up to the it's beautiful. Just sign up. I mean, if you don't like it, don't use it. But for me and my people, that's all. That's literally all I use to get stuff done. That, my inbox, and my calendar.
That's awesome. So let's take a step back, and I think looking at my productivity, which I'm not quite as organized, I guess you could say, and I default often to using a simple text file with certain categories, and I just do it very old school. But one of the ways that my productivity has increased over the years isn't actually, I mean, when you go out online or in the business bookstore or whatever, you see how to get more done. And that's never been an issue for me because I'm really fast at what I do. The issue is really how to get better things done and less of, or more of them, but I'm actually doing less things that matter more. So I don't know what your experience is, Ricky, with that, but that to me is 60% of my battle is if I don't fill up my time with stupid stuff, then for me, I've read the books where the guys are script your day. You don't have time for this if you didn't put it in there. And I'm not one that really thrives. I can't be a jerk very easily. Not to say that you have to be a jerk about that, but when someone comes to me and say, hey, can you help me out? oftentimes I have trouble saying no. And a list alleviates some of that weird confrontation and pressure, because I can just say, well, no, I've got this going, or it makes my decision making a lot easier because I get bombarded with like 4 million things in a day. And so if I don't have something to lean back on, I become like a yes man, which is like stupid, but I do, and it hurts my productivity. So what do you say about all that?
But no, I agree. Everybody likes to act like they're great at saying no and all this. I've actually never met anybody like that. Well, because you have kids and family, and you're always like ebbing and flowing within your day. So, anybody who can just, I think I probably do it better than most, but I'm still just like you. I mean, I have people who need things or want things, but I pretty much stick to my script. But I'm like you. I have a hard time just being a complete cock. I'm just not really how I roll. But you can do both. You can not be that way and still get stuff done. But I'm with you on that. I think the biggest problem that I see, and this is working with people, is most people do such stupid stuff all day long, stuff that will have no impact, won't make them money or give them fulfillment, that what we're talking about is kind of after all that is done.
Yeah.
You really have to start with a vision, what you want to accomplish, what you want to complete. Because if you have all that at the back end and figured out and you know what you need to do, you're going to be, even as a sucky entrepreneur, somewhat resourceful, and it's going to happen and finish and close. You know what I mean? But most people don't know what they're doing, so they'll get up and they'll spend 4 days learning about a WordPress plugin, or spend 19 days writing copy, or like everything I see is such low leverage BS that it's crazy to me. Listen, they're not all going to be home runs, and you may not get rich off every project or even make $1, but like, keep the train moving. Most people are doing stuff that doesn't keep the train moving.
Yeah. I think understand that if you're responding to an email that came in your box that leads you on some sort of information gathering expedition or some sort of review process, maybe about new software, you are playing a very active role in building someone else's dream. So
yeah, that's a great
if
point.
that is more important to you than building your dream, you're in the right place. But if it's not, then understand where your energies are going at that moment. And I think that's how people lose days, weeks, months, years, and get to the end and have absolutely nothing to show for it. It's because all they've done is played a willing role in somebody else's movie.
And I want to harp on that, related and somewhat unrelated, about dreams. So, in my opinion, have your own dream. It doesn't matter, because me and Jason, we've talked about this a lot. You have more kids than anybody I know, and I have 2 kids and 3 little poodles, and we have our own little deal, right? And me and you have completely different dreams, in a sense, and different things we want to get done, and different lifestyle, decisions. So what I would highly recommend to people is, I don't care what you read in a book, what somebody tells you should do, what you need to figure out, and this is my thing. This isn't to hinder you, but it's to help you. To figure out an income goal and a freedom goal that fits your life and your goals and your dreams and your desires. It doesn't matter what other people say. If you don't want to be a millionaire, don't be a millionaire. It doesn't matter. If you just need to make $8,000 a month and that makes you happy and you don't have a job, listen, it's your life. But the key is, and if you want to make $4 million a month, well, that's going to require a different infrastructure, a different thought process, a different flow. Everything's going to have to change at that level versus the $8 or $10,000 a month level. My thing is this: pick a level, and that's not to hinder you, and you're not going to rise above that level or shoot for more. But pick a level. You got to have a target. And then from there, that's where Trello is going to make sense. Being able to stay disciplined throughout the day, because you have a target now, and you can get busy and be doing things on a daily basis to reach that goal. That's the biggest thing that I see, Jason. I don't know about you, but working with people, I don't even call it frustrating, because I really don't get frustrated. People are going to do it or they're not. But we have got to get people hanging on to a mission, a goal, something they want to do, accomplish, that excites them. Because I don't know about you, man, but everybody I've dealt with that's failed, they fizzle out. Well, why do they fizzle out? They get stuck on the wrong crap, man. It's not a sales letter. It's not one video. It's not one product. It's not one anything. It's a combination of 75 things moving on a daily basis that get you where you want to be. And where you want to be is your deal. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks. You do you.
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest blow to my productivity over the years has been the times where I spent all of my time and energy pursuing other people's dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And what really sucks about that is the only way you find any fulfillment is if you get it, if you get there, if you get that dream. And even then, since it wasn't yours, it's very fleeting.
Great point.
And so I finally learned that, as I go on, I find out that I have more to learn than ever before, but I listen to very few people, not because they don't say good things, but because their life has no impact on where I'm trying to go. And so to fill my day learning from people that are more successful, that embody nothing about where I'm trying to go, I've realized it's okay to not do that. It's okay. I'm not saying I know everything. I'm saying that your dreams are no longer mine. Where you're trying to take people is not where I want to go. So the way I fill my time now is very specific to what I want to do. Part of what I want to do is to have my kids be 30 years old and not hate me.
Mm-hmm.
That has nothing to do with money.
Mm-hmm.
That has nothing to do with success in any way that is measurable, except that particular way to me.
And
so
I give up. I'm with you. I give up tons of opportunity, money, stuff, all types of stuff to just kick soccer balls and throw footballs and go to parks and hang out and lay on the couch with and do stuff with the kids and the wife. I mean, I make tons of, I don't even call it sacrifice, but green paper certainly isn't going to persuade me to be, quote unquote, more successful. I mean, that word is weird in and of itself, but I'm with you 100% on that.
Well, and I don't say that to make myself sound good. I don't think it's about a moral thing at all. It's about what you want and what you don't want.
Well, because
so some people wants to work 18 hours a day. That's your choice.
And that's the point I was going to prove is there may be a dude who does that or whatever. Yeah. I mean, I'm not judging any of it. I'm just saying whatever it is you do, just be committed to it and do what you do. If you're a minimal family guy, me and Jason aren't, but that's not saying we're better or worse. That's just what we've chosen. My thing is grab onto something so you can stick in this game a minute, because most people fizzle out because there's just nothing to chew on at the end of the day.
Well, and why it really matters is that, we've both gone through periods where you feel like you're working really hard, but you're not getting anywhere. And
oh yeah,
if I look back at those times, it was where I wasn't even, in terms of productivity, it was all wasted time because I wasn't even chasing what I wanted. So if you don't know that, then it's better you just sit on your hands and figure it out than invest all this energy going where everyone else is trying to pull you, because it will not be worth it.
Yeah, I would just highly recommend a simple way to look at that is you really do have two decisions at the end of the day. You can be a consumer, you can be a producer. I would always rather be a producer. Everybody wants you to consume their stuff. But it becomes very easy to decline that temptation when you're really clear on what you want, who you are, what you're going to be, and what you're going to hold tight to. Because most stuff isn't going to funnel within that vision. So you can just slap that out of the way, move that out of the way. Don't need to listen to that. Can unsubscribe from that because it's not in line with your life's vision.
Yeah, as crazy as it sounds, I think productivity is about doing less.
Oh, yeah, and really looking for the real high impact. You can go back to 80-20, all the good stuff. But just really high impact, staying with the vision. And then you'll wake up every day and be excited. Let me take that back. You're going to actually wake up and be really frustrated a lot of days. Some days. You're not going to just be happy go every time and so thrilled about your business. We know that's not a fact. But it keeps you in the game day after day, excited, But I don't want everybody to fool themselves like we're living in lollipop land. I mean, sometimes it can be very difficult, very hard.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I think productivity is just something that, I don't know. I think the wrong standard is out there as the goal for people to pursue. I don't find it fulfilling. I mean, I've thought a long time about balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm assuming productivity is it's a means to something else, right? You don't just be productive for the sake of being productive. So, I've thought for myself a long time about, are the people that are where I want to be, are they living what I would call a balanced life? Like, do I want a balanced life? And I don't find too many people that are where I thought I wanted to be, that are living a balanced life. And so I had to come to terms with,
what do you consider a balanced life, and what do you when you're, give an example of that.
I think the definition of a balanced life is giving appropriate time to everything that you are,
that you're interested in and love doing as a personal person, right? Just as you.
Right. So for me, my family is important. So therefore, a balanced life includes time, effort, and focus directed towards them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this will obviously be very different for everyone, but productivity for me is a vehicle to get me to more of a balanced situation, because that is what I feel is healthiest for me. Now, you don't see many super high achievers that talk like that.
I was about to kind of slide in there and mention that. I don't know. We both know a lot of very successful people and are friends with them, but if you would wanted to put a number on it, people making, a few mil or more per year with small teams, because we're more into small business, like lifestyle type businesses. The people doing really, really, really well financially. I'm not saying there's not a ton of balance from what I've seen, because to do huge numbers consistently, unless your outsourcing is unfreaking real, I haven't seen the most balance. Have you?
No, and I mean, that's fine, and that's what they choose. But it took me a long time to have the guts to say that's not what I want.
And I'm not judging that. I'm just saying it's kind of a fact. Like, income is somewhat proportionate to balance broadly, like from what I've seen. So and I don't think that's not something that is often in business circles really highlighted. That, like, the only thing that matters, without exception, without judgment, is what you want. Because it is your life. Yeah, because, I mean, at the end of the day, also, business is about, if you listen to anybody or even us, what's the scorecard in business? Well, your bank account. That's the only way you can actually take score, is what you have laying in there after it's all said and done, and the marketing's done, and the lead gen is done, and the banner ads are bought, and the customers come through the funnel, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, what's the touchdown look like? Well, that's the bank account. Are you willing to sacrifice some of that? And some people will say, well, you don't have to sacrifice. You can have it all. I'm going to go against the grain there and say, no, you can't. Because whichever direction you mentally and physically go in it has to pull from some other area in your life. It's impossible to just do it all phenomenally. Now, you can pick some things to do phenomenal. I'm going to have a family. I'm going to have good health. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. But I don't know about you. If you want to break this out even deeper, most people that I know that have great, great balance, I would consider my wife one of those people. She has to say no to so much stuff, social life. That I've never seen anybody highly successful, though, that doesn't suffer some, because it's just impossible to manage and do all the other stuff and have that. So I don't know about you, Jay. I've seen that imbalance in everybody. But my thing is, I want to be in a position to choose what I want to be imbalanced at. Like, all right, well, I guess I'm just not going to have that, because you will pick and choose, because this business will suck you in. Because like I said earlier, it's infinitely scalable. The stuff doesn't stop. You can grow and grow and grow and grow. You're going to have to choose a point where you say, I'm good, and then do other parts of your life.
Yeah, I think my main point to make today, to have you think about, is that productivity requires context. Productivity is not this objective thing where the more you get done, the better.
Mm-hmm.
There are not many productivity tools out there that help you figure out what you should be doing. They help you get more done.
You hit on a great point. That's the art.
Are not the same.
You hit on a great point. That's the art of it, though. What could you imagine a book saying what to? Nobody wants to have that accountability. Could you imagine what to do? Because that's the scapegoat for everybody, for all the productivity quote unquote wizards and gurus and business gurus. That's the scapegoat, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you were just doing the wrong, or you didn't do that right, or it's rarely like technical. I mean, think about it. Microsoft Outlook, Google AdWords, these things. I mean, they're just pieces of software that nerds in a back room built from scratch with an infrastructure. How you use them, I mean, it is what it is. Do your best. 90% of the battle is vision, stick-to-itiveness, having a goal, doing stuff that matters. Because you're right. You could come in to my office and work 14 hours a day for an entire year, and do stupid stuff every day and never get anything worthwhile done that'll make you any money.
Yeah.
So you make a great point right there.
Yeah, I think productivity is about helping you get to the goals that you've decided are right for you. That's it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And we got a little technical on the front end with Trello and all that. I just wanted to mention that. But this call could actually go on for another 4 hours because we should probably have a part 2 to this where we go into tools where, and if people want to email us and let us know, I can go into kind of how I do it and Jason can go into how he does it. But since we like to keep our calls around a half an hour, I'll give you the short version. Mine is Trello in combination with Dropbox and Outlook and an actual handwritten list that I do every day. But I could go into more details on that. And Jason, I know you have your flow on how you do things, but those are technical. That's 10% of the game as far as that part, you know.
Yeah, I mean, all I use is a simple text file. I have my deadlines. I have ideas. I have like miscellaneous to-dos. Mm-hmm. I don't use something like, I have to say Trello again, because if we don't hit the number of times we have to mention that, we won't get the clues.
That's true. Yeah.
I have tried it. It's an awesome system, though. So go check it out.
All right, cool. Well, everyone, we really appreciate y'all. You know, we don't plan these calls and put bullet points. You know, all we do is I email Jason and I say, hey, Jason, what do you want to talk about next week? And we do it. So our goal is simply these calls are a service to the community. Some people will connect, some people won't. Some calls will really hit you hard, some won't. We're just giving you our life experiences, you know, what we do, our thoughts, and our goal at the end of the day with marketingphonecalls.com is just to help you and kind of give you a glimpse into our world. And I just wanted to kind of end that, Jason, and just tell everyone we appreciate him. And our goal is to do one of these a week. That's what we're trying to do. Jason, do you want to say anything?
And tell your friends.
There it is. All right, y'all take it easy.
We will see you next time. Bye-bye.